and make sure what we're saying, what we're messaging, and even what the product looks like on the label, make sure it's akin to the culture there. That to me would be important to going to another country, and that's the best way I can answer that.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Oh, that's brilliant. And drinking industry is the one of the most competitive uh, out there. So, what made you think that as a small business you can go there and compete with the big guys in a product that requires a lot of, because it's water, requires a lot of branding. You have to tell the story and what the product represents.
Mhm.
And the players out there, the other day I have a conversation with people that supply supermarket, and they were telling me things that they were unreasonable for me. They will say, no, no, they will take your first order and they won't pay you anything. They just
Yeah.
will try, and you have to pay for it, either it works or not.
Mhm.
And they just will put the water there. It's not like they're gonna put it tidy. They're gonna put it there, and off you go. Yeah. So that was a comment that came to me a
Mhm.
little bit. So it's an industry that to penetrate the product is the competitiveness is very aggressive,
Mhm.
and the big boys, say in supermarket or distribution channels, sometimes take advantage of the small guys.
Mhm.
And on the other hand, if it's very competitive and there's a lot of it, it's because there is a big demand, right? Especially water. When I personally drink a lot of water. So how you make this step? What pros and cons you analyze before to jumping into this venture? And do you really knew how competitive and how tough it's gonna be? You
Mhm.
knew before, or you knew after you dive in and start to penetrate and try to get market share?
No, I knew it. I'm from the beverage industry.
Ah, wow.
So
So
I
you
grew
you
up,
knew what you were getting into, eh?
yes,
Oh, thanks God, because
yeah, I grew up with the Cokes and Pepsis of the world and all of those
ah,
things.
wow.
So in 2017, I retired from the corporate world, and we headed down the path, Harry, of starting a food processing company to create jobs in a community that we were connected to,
Wow.
that got hit with a lot of factory closures. But during all of that, we were getting ready with a group of people. We were getting ready to launch that company, and the COVID pandemic hit, and that stopped the entire project. But we had learned a lot, especially around barley. We had learned a lot during all of that. And as the COVID pandemic kind of wore on, we saw that Americans were looking for cleaner products, one that were healthier, and we saw the beginning of a health movement.
Mhm.
Uh, and we knew that barley was a product that had long medicinal histories. I knew the beverage industry, and we just saw the trends changing. And then recently, as you're probably aware, in the United States, we have a new administration and we have a health renaissance happening as we speak.
Mhm.
So we saw
Mhm.
all of that, and we knew we had a product that could match up to where the public wanted to go, even if they weren't there yet. So we just put all of that together and said, all right, well, let's work on a brand that would fit that need and help the consumers that want to have an active lifestyle, but also have brands that are cleaner, healthier for them, and could have a medicinal value. And we saw the beverage industry as being it's just a sea of sugary, unhealthy drinks,
Mhm.
and we thought we could stand out. And I knew the industry enough to be able to navigate.
100%.
Right, and that's
100,
how we got.
100%. And I live in London, and definitely the industry has changed, because when I go to a supermarket, my girlfriend, she drinks Coca-Cola, and she like that one that have the sugar. And
Yeah.
somehow, one day I'm going to the supermarket, and it's like the Coca-Cola with sugar is like 230, and the other one with no sugar is like 99 pence, something like that.
Yeah.
135,
Mm.
almost half price.
Right.
The other one is close sometimes to £3, the shoe one.
Mm.
And my girlfriend, no, I like that one, I like that one. I said, Lily, why you would be helpful if you start to reconsider to use the diet one of the zero, whatever, because it's 50% cheaper. Tastes the
Right.
same thing, you're paying literally double. So what it means that different governments, I live in Europe, I live in London, already are um, even, I'm sure that Coca-Cola sell all the drinks at the same price. They just put a tax on sugar and the consumer
Yep.
to pay, same like we did with cigarettes, right?
Hmm.
So, and the consumer, even me, I'm telling my girlfriend, look, pick the other drink, is not a big deal. And we say
Hmm.
50%, it's 50% almost.
Hmm.
So, and I see here in the United States, finally, a move pro to do something to take care of the health of people, right?
Hmm.
And that needs a lot of work from government
Yep.
to companies. Unless, actually, let me ask you this question, okay? Because we have a new administration, which is America first, and now
Hmm.
here you are, Chris, producing a bottle of water, okay, with specific characteristic, and it's a made USA product, I believe.
Hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. All of it. Yep.
Okay, so what is gonna happen if I bring the water for Turkey? I have one client that owns 300 supermarket, and he's telling me on the phone all the time, well, I can get you water from Turkey really cheap to United States. How are you gonna compete with that product that is made in Turkey, that landing here, if if I don't know, whatever the tariffs negotiate, I don't think you will be able to compete, because here the salaries in the United States are more higher, the facility, the production, have to pay rent and everything. Is the government's gonna finance you? They're gonna help you? They're gonna keep a supermarket space just from U.S. products? Uh, I think it's a long way the government need to work, because the truth is that yeah, in terms of water or other products, those big giants that with large conglomerate, they have that they buy so large quantity that they can get the price of the unit
Right.
really
Right.
cheap. So how are you gonna compete?
Well, you'll never compete with the Cokes and Pepsis of the world with their purchasing power.
100%.
Their
Or with other
leverage.
bigs.
Yeah, exactly. From their leverage purchasing, we can't compete with. What we compete with is the quality of your product, number one, and where it's produced. So if I were going over to
Mm-hmm.
Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
if I were taking our product over to Turkey, we only sell in the US right now. So everything that we produce, the ingredients and everything comes from the US right now. I believe in wherever you are going into a market to as much degree as you can, do the local market
Mm-hmm.
and have as much effect on small business people there locally as you can. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. That's just, you're protecting your own country first, and that's good.
I'm seeing it's happening, for example, in United Kingdom. You go to a supermarket, I think, is it Aldi actually? Is it
Aldi, yeah,
Aldi? Yeah. What they have, I believe last time I checked, it was the fastest growing supermarket in United Kingdom. The growing faster, and one of the techniques they did, they start to bring meat and products made in England, in UK, and you could notice this product because uh, a quarter of the package have the UK flag.
oh,
You see,
yep,
so you clearly they put the
yep,
flag so big that you knew that is a British product, and they
yep,
use this as a marketing strategy, and somehow they managed to educate the consumer, and the consumer got educated enough, because at the end of the day, had consumer who had the buying power, and that was one of the most successful things that happened, because in fact the people there in United Kingdom, they don't mind to spend a little bit more in order to support the local farmer, the local industry, and everything.
Yeah.
So how we are in terms of the education of the consumer here in the United States, where here we can call it that it's more aggressive, and in terms that everybody is trying to make a bucks, yeah, and everybody's trying to save money, and people, if they can set them pace, they want is I'm happy for with the I'm seeing with the car industry, for example. You see in US, you see in the roads, and I don't know, I've seen 7 or 6 out of 10 cars are from abroad. They're not from
Right.
US.
Right.
So meaning that the consumer, the U.S. consumer, and then you ask the U.S. consumer, and they say, "What do you buy? I know a car from somewhere else," and they say, "Well, it's cheaper." I save money. What can I do? So I said, "Look, but the other one already made here is not that expensive compared with the other one, maybe a little bit more. But if you buy this
Yeah.
product here, you will be helping, the people in the country that works in that factory. You might be feeding." Because you bought this American car, you might be feeding families in your own country. Your own country can be growing
Yeah.
and could be even better for you at the end of the day. But it's a lot of education that has to. So, what do you think that the government? Because I believe that this has to be um, um, a collaboration between all entities in order to make this work, and the government has to play a big part. And we have seen some progress, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have seen some progress. So, but how we gonna? What more do you think that they can do in terms of educating the consumer? Do you think that the government should give you a grant and then you, as a brand, educate the consumer, or do you think that they should be running ads and they should be, as a government policy, uh, sending a message in order to keep everybody healthy? Because what is true is that U.S. population is one of the unhealthiest in the world. I travel a lot, and if you go to a supermarket and you see the people in Italy, France, Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, and then you go to a supermarket, you see the people here, you clearly can identify there's a lot of obesity. UK has a lot of obesity as well, but it's a lot. Have been gone out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I think to answer the question, Harry, is me personally, I think you always have to be respectful of the local market. And whoever those consumers are, you be respectful of that market and those consumers. Have a value-added product that I'm not going to ever compete with just basic water. That's pennies on the dollar. We'll never compete with that because we have better ingredients. We infuse it with things. It's the cost of goods is more. So we have to get a better price
And
for
it's
our
good
product.
for your health.
And it's good for your health. So you play to the value of the product, be respectful of the local consumer, and to whatever degree we can when the volume grows. If I were going into the UK, for instance, whenever the volume begins to grow, start doing more in the UK for that product, whether producing it or whatever the case may be. But that's really a commitment to that country and that community and that local market. And that is what I would do, to be respectful of those people in that market and not pretend to be something we're not. In the US, we know exactly how to speak to it. In the UK, whatever that market is, we would study. We would go to the local marketing agencies that understood, the people in the UK and the diversity there, and make sure what we're saying, what we're messaging, and even what the product looks like on the label. Make sure it's akin to the culture there. That to me would be important to going to another country, and that's the best way I can answer that.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.